Georgia cadets at Texas A&M. I met Otis, who was truly the first Texan I'd ever met. Otis came to the Corps cadets as a Eagle Scout with the one mission to become an Army Ranger. Well, he exceeded that. He spent 25 years, retired as Lieutenant Colonel in the Special Forces, but he's figured that wasn't enough yet. So he has started several companies. He runs a consulting business. Again, giving of his time. He has parlayed his love of rugby as an advisor to the national rugby team. His son Camden, who is here, is the voice of the University of Arizona rugby. So if you're ever there and you listen to the stream, you get to meet the man that's here today. He's joined by his father and his lovely wife, Suzanne. Otis, thank you.
Thanks, buddy. There we are. That's okay. I got it, man. I got it. Thank you. I'm going to start off with a little story. It was a cold, wet, and rainy day in February. I hadn't slept hardly at all in probably 2 weeks, maybe an hour a night or so. And on top of the lack of sleep I had, hardly anything to eat either. We just spent a week out in the woods. In the last few days, I was lucky to get a ball of rice, maybe two if we were really good and did what we were told. And I was tired of being yelled at, tired of being harassed. It was nonstop. But I knew there was an end state to it all, and I knew at the end of it, I would be better. And then it happened. Magically, in this moment, over the PA system, was his voice that said, "You are Americans, you are free, welcome home." And then the Star-Spangled Banner started. And as we looked around, we saw the flagpole that had some made-up flag for some nondescript enemy come down, and this flag right here go up. Our former prison guards had changed to the U.S. military uniforms, and they were raising that grand, wonderful flag. And it hit us. It was one of the most wonderful sights I'd ever seen and thought about in our nation, and that flag represented it. And of course, I was not a prisoner of war. This was SEER training, survival, evasion, resistance, and escape training. And we had just completed the final phase of it, the resistance phase. We were a group of soon-to-be Green Berets, preparing ourselves on how to handle being captured and surviving with honor. High-level SEER is a 2-week school. Starts off in the classroom, of course. Like any good military school, they're going to teach you what they're going to teach you. Taught us about surviving off the land, building a shelter, evading capture, and then when we're captured, inevitably, in this scenario, inevitably, how to handle it, how to be interrogated, how to have that honor, how to understand what the questions may be, how you might be handled, and how to survive that situation with honor. And it was time to test all these things they had given us. So we were dropped behind enemy lines with the mission to evade our captors and survive. Now, this was training, so there were a lot of rules involved. Things like if we got seen by our captors, we had to surrender. When we were captured, we couldn't fight back, and we couldn't escape. I'll cover what the instructor's rules were. Needless to say, they weren't nearly as tight as ours. A few days of evading the enemy in the forest out in North Carolina, moving at night, hiding during the day, came to an end because they always knew where we were. We were captured. Our hands were zip-tied behind our back, hoods were put over our heads, 6 of us were thrown in the back of a van. We were driven to the prison camp. Got to the prison camp, they drug us out of the van, took the handcuffs off, took the hood off, had us stand in formation, which felt like forever. And while we were standing in formation, our prison guards went around and tried to divide us. They picked on everybody about every little thing, whether you were too tall, it made you squat down, too short, made you stand higher. Push-ups, sit-ups, my favorite, the worm crawl. Continuous harassment and a continuous effort to divide us, to separate us, to get us to say something bad about our brothers, our unit, or this great nation. Day in, day out, nonstop, all night long. To include the individual interrogations, putting you in a room, one-on-one. You've seen the movies. It was just like that. And even had the test. The thing that really taught me something about myself, I refer to it as my Briar Rabbit moment, the box. So the box at SEER School was punishment, but it was my briar patch. The box was a plywood box, stood about 3 feet tall, about 3 feet long, and about 2 feet wide. They put you in this box for punishment, and I loved it. Because the box, to me, I was no longer getting yelled at. I was no longer having to worm crawl through the wet sawdust in the cold and the rain. And I had learned to tune out by this time, as many times as I went in, tune out all the propaganda that came over the PA system. And I'll tell you a little secret about a 3/4-inch plywood box like that. It's a great insulation. It was toasty warm in that box, so I was all about throw me in the briar patch. That training is the best in the world. And it had its effect on each and every one of us there that day when that flag went up. We felt it, every one of us. The pride, the honor, the gratitude of seeing our flag raised. And it stayed with me ever since that day and grown deeper in meaning every time I see that flag. And as Paul said, I did 25 years as a Green Beret. Paul, thank you for this opportunity. I love sharing my passion to help others build their passion. I've had such a great life, wonderful wife, family, my father, grandfather, husband, and most of all, I'm a patriot. And these 13 bars running horizontally, 50 stars on a field of blue, the red representing the blood of our brave, the white, the purity of our freedom. The 50 stars on a field of blue, one for each state, as Paul said, the blue for the perseverance to retain and hold that freedom. It's hard to believe sometimes that something so simple can mean so much to me. I've seen our flag all over the world, some of the most beautiful and most dangerous places. Each time I see our flag, it moves me. Now, I don't have to be in some far-off country, homesick for America, to be moved when I see it. I can be driving down the highway, and out of the window of my truck, there she is in all her glory. I on a flagpole in front of some nondescript office building that I don't even know who it is because I never get past the flag. At each Colorado Avalanche game that Miss Suzanne and I go to, the honor guard comes out onto the ice. They raise the flag up, lower the state flag and the honor flag, then we sing the national anthem, and I feel it. And if you've ever been to a Colorado Avalanche game, I didn't think about this until your lovely national anthem that you did, because it reminded me of how we sing the national anthem in a Colorado Avalanche game. When we get to that word flag, the entire stadium says, "Flag!" Screams it out. It's amazing. This thing, 20 some odd thousand people in that arena, excited. The pride for this flag is for the men and women I've stood next to in defense of our nation that this flag represents. I've had the honor to do my part to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And this flag represents that. The pride comes from the hard work and effort we put into be the best that we can be, to be prepared for that call to defend her. When I was 12 years old, I joined the Boy Scouts. And at every meeting, we would carry the flag into the room, say the Pledge of Allegiance. This is where it all began for me. Learning from my dad back there in the back, and my buddies' dads about how important the flag was, how to hold it, how to honor it, how to carry it, how to place it in the stand. Each night at our meetings, no matter how crazy and silly we would be as a group of boys will be playing together, we knew that we didn't screw around with the flag. We took pride in being the ones who carried the flag. We were taught what a great responsibility it was to just carry the flag. The last thing that any of us wanted to do was screw up that responsibility. We didn't understand the totality of what this flag represented yet, but we were learning. We knew that that flag meant a lot to our fathers, who taught us and showed us how to have pride in this flag. I honor the flag because of all it represents. From the ideas and principles each of us live by, to the men and women who have fought hard to defend her and paid the ultimate and final sacrifice. When I look at the flag, my thoughts flash to the pictures, images, and people I've known who didn't come home, who gave unselfishly to protect our way of life. By honoring this symbolic cloth, I honor them. There is a reason people want to come to America. There is a reason we all stay here. It's freedom. We have freedom and a love of freedom like no place or culture in this world. Each day, we should all wake up and be grateful that this is where we live. I've been to places that were so barren and depleted that the effort to live, water, food, shelter, Maslow's bottom line hierarchy of needs, is a struggle each and every day. These people are beautiful, generous, and gracious, but they have nothing. Most of all, they don't have freedom. Some of them have literally had everything taken from them. They have been oppressed and have no freedom of choice, freedom to pursue happiness, freedom to choose as they want to. Everything has been taken from them. I'm grateful that I am American and that I was born here. I know there are many who are grateful that they've had the chance to come to America and become American. When I see the flag, I am reminded of how lucky I am to be here in the land of opportunity. I am thankful for being American and all the Americans who came before me. I am grateful for the men who were bold enough to create it, the men who were brave enough to fight for it. Okay, just make sure I didn't miss. The women who stood by and supported them, and the ones who fought by their sides. I know I wouldn't be here today without their desire to defend this flag. Do you remember where you were? I'm sure we all do. Morning of 9/11, 2001. I know I do. I know I always will. I had just finished physical training with my team and had breakfast, returned to the headquarters, and we got the call. Turn on the TV. Roger. We all went to the conference room, turned on the TV, and we stood there in shock and amazement of what we saw. And then we started to work. We started to pull out plans. We started to pull out maps. We started to pack our gear because we were a group of Green Berets. Men who take action. Men who take pride in this nation. Men whose motto is De oppresso liber, to free the oppressed. And now we were the ones who were being oppressed by a foreign invasion. The call didn't come that day, that imminent call we just knew that we'd get. It didn't come that day, and we all went home. And this is where the second amazing thing happened for me that day that I'll always remember. I don't know how it started. I don't know where the idea came from. I just know we did it. Miss Suzanne and the kids and I all went outside with candles and flags in our hand. And the entire neighborhood was there. Big flags, little flags, 4th of July coveralls, hats, all candles, all there. Because we wanted to be united and show our gratitude for this great nation. And know that we were united under and behind this flag, because this flag would lead us out of that desperate moment. I've hoisted the flag, I've carried the flag, I've folded the flag. I've saluted the flag at dusk, at dawn, and on a casket. And each time that I do, I honor the memories of the men and women who worked so hard to create and defend our freedom. And I am grateful for their sacrifice. The flag may be a piece of cloth to some, but to me it is much more. It has been part of my life for over 50 years. And it will cover my casket when I die. And until then, the flag will always inspire pride, honor, and gratitude that I have for this wonderful nation. So I'd like to ask if you don't mind standing, and we'll say the Pledge of Allegiance together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all. Thanks. Please be seated. Thank you very much for this opportunity, Paul. It is quite the honor.
Don't go away quite yet. Fantastic.